Hey guys, TommyBryson here, and 401k and your age. How much money exactly should you have inside of your 401k by the time you're 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 or 60? We're gonna go over all of them, including in your 70s. Don't worry, I got you covered. But one thing this reminds me of is this book I read when the guy actually said, Tommy, whenever you start something, always think about the end first. Like, how is this going to end? What do you want to come from this, okay? And what is your exit strategy? So when it comes to this entire video about 401k and investing, obviously what we have to do is invest. But what is our overall goal? It's to have enough money so we don't need to work at Walmart as a greeter because we don't have enough in retirement, and that is a sad case for a lot of people out there. So obviously, I want to give you first a quick little win here, and if you want to find out exactly how much money you will need for retirement when the time actually comes, what you want to do is this, okay? Grab your phone real quick, simple math, nothing crazy. You want to calculate exactly how much money do you think you're going to spend per month, okay? So in my case, I'm thinking about $2,500, really not that much for me. So $2,500, then multiply it by 12 to get, for example, the annual cost, and then boom, that's around like $30,000 a year. Because I have a paid off home and everything's taken care of and there's no debts. Remember those things too, okay? Because your cost of living is probably going to be a lot lower if you do things correctly. Now, what you want to do with this number is just multiply it by 25 and it'll tell you exactly how much money you need to have invested. So in my case, personally, that's my mom, by the way, all you need to have is multiply by 25 is around $750,000. Now, I want you to do me a favor, comment down below and let me know exactly how much money do you actually need. And by the way, these are usually going to be big numbers. And for everyone out there that says, Tommy, I want to have an income of at least $10,000 a year because, $10,000 a month because I want to ride around in Mercedes and have this big house. It's a lot of money. You need to have an investment account to make you that much money. It's insane, okay? So if you want to have $120,000 income a year, multiply by 25, you have an investment account with around $3 million. You know how much money that is? $3 million. It is a lot of money. So the lower your cost of living basically is, the better you're going to be off. And the idea is, again, think with the end in mind. So once I have, for example, that $700,000, I think it was, I just basically take out 4% of that portfolio every single year, and I can basically live off of that $30,000 for a very long time. And the investments keep growing at around 10-12%, so I never run out of money. That's the cool thing. But yeah, let's get into 401k, average age, and all that cool stuff. And as always, like this video and top out. Also, if you're new here, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you're notified. Now, I want you to think about this, okay? Remember your number. Comment down below because this is going to be crazy. Because here is the average amount of money the average person has in their 401k by age. Now, I could pretend like I did a whole bunch of research. I did my own survey. I went to the old people home next to my house. The answer is no. I didn't do that. I didn't ask my neighbors. I went on Google because basically all this information is public. All of it is public. So here is a picture. I want you to screenshot it. And I want you to basically label your age, okay? So as you can see here, if you are in your 20s, you'll have around $10,500. If you are in your 30s, you'll have around $38,400. If you are in your 40s, that's $93,000. If you are in your 50s, that's $106,000. And if you are in your 60s, $182,000. And if you are in your 70s, you will have around $171,000. Now, one big thing that I did notice were actually three things here. The first thing is, if you notice, guys, the younger people are, the less of a priority retirement actually is. So relative to their income, they're only investing 7 to 8%. And then later in the years, that's when they do 10%, 11%, 12%. But by that point, it's kind of like, wow, a lot of time has been wasted. And when you think about it, When do you have the least amount of responsibilities and things to worry about? And usually bills, right? That's usually when you're a lot younger. Usually, most of us, we don't have any kids yet. We're just getting started. Yes, we have maybe some student loan debt and all that stuff. But in reality, that's the time when you should be able to invest the most. But because people play catch up towards the end, that's why they end up basically investing a lot more money. Now, the second thing I've noticed is basically, if you notice when you are in your 60s and then 70s, you're gonna have less money. Why do you think that is? Because on average, people start to take money out because basically they just retired. But if you do retirement the right way, you should still have more money every single year, although you're taking money out. That's what I teach in my whole financial freedom course, which is the link is down below if you are interested. But this is kind of like, wow. So now I'm basically in my 70s. I have $171,000. I don't have any income anymore because basically I'm retired and I have some Social Security, okay? Now, just for fun here, I want to run some numbers because basically this is the third thing I realize, okay? So here's the fact that no one wants to tell you. And the first thing is basically, guys, $182,000, if you take 4% of that to make sure you don't run out of money, it's only going to give you around $303 in monthly income. Not that great. And on average, the average person that's on Social Security at that age, 60s and 70s, they're getting like around $1,500. So in total, you're looking at, hey, Tommy, I retired and I have an income of $1,800. And most people, well, around, roughly like almost a third of those people, they don't have a paid off home. So now you're looking at, I still have high expenses. I don't have enough money, enough income coming in passively. So what do? All of a sudden, you're a greeter at Walmart. And that is what I don't want for anyone. So that's why I'm making this video. So if being average is going to suck this much, meaning I have to have a job when I retire and I'm supposed to be done with work, enjoying my life and having fun, the answer is, what do you do instead? Well, the answer is pretty simple. And let me tell you what it is. If you want to have more money for retirement, you have two options. You either invest more money, so that way you can have more money in the end. Or second, you start a lot more earlier, and that way you can have money compound for a longer period of time without interruption, which basically means in the end, you're going to have more money. But before I tell you exactly the plan and how to make sure you actually end up with a lot more than $180,000, like at least like $1 million, okay? The answer is, I want to tell you this first. Here's a quick little win. Guys, if you have a job and you are having, for example, a retirement account over there, a 401k, 403b plan, whatever it is, okay? Ask them for the Roth option. The thing is this, okay, guys? When it comes to the 401k, traditional IRA, 403b plan, all those plans right there, what happens is whenever you make money, of course, we pay taxes. But Uncle Sam says, hey, don't pay me now. Invest this money tax-free for now, have the deduction, and then when you take the money out when you're like 70 and a half, I want my money back, my taxes. But this way the money grows tax-free. The problem is that $108,000, in reality, it might be like $150 or $140 because Uncle Sam is going to take his money back from the entire 401k. But if you have, for example, a Roth 401k or a Roth 403b plan, or for example, a Roth IRA, whatever money you invest, you say, hey, Uncle Sam, appreciate it, but I rather pay my money, take your tax, and let me invest the difference. And that way, you allow your money post-tax to invest, grow tax-free basically, and then at the end, all that money is going to be 100% yours. That's the cool thing about the Roth option. When will you need most money? In retirement. So why take this whole benefit right now? And when can you basically invest the most money? In your youth. So why delay that? It's like people do a lot of things backwards and you're not supposed to do it this way. But again, this stuff is not common sense. They don't teach it in high school. They don't teach it in middle school or college at all. So that's why I'm telling it to you right now. But overall, Tommy, what should be my plan? How do I make sure I have enough money so when I retire, I'm going to be fine? Well, as you know, you might have like 1,000 people watching this video. So I just can't tell you that answer and be like, hey, this answer works for everyone. Because in reality, this answer is subjective. So just like how much you need for retirement, how much you need to invest to get to that amount, well, the answer is going to be different, but I'm going to show you exactly how to get that answer right now. But a common rule of thumb is this that I teach in my course, okay? If you have a mortgage and you're trying to pay it off early, only invest like 10-15%. But if you have, for example, a paid off mortgage, you can invest anywhere from 15 to 20%, okay? And that way, you can basically hijack those retirement accounts and have a lot more money in the end. But I want to show you something really quick. So if you go on Google and you type in, for example, savings goal calculator, click, for example, the first link right here, okay? Savings goal calculator, boom, click it. But here it is, okay, guys? Here is a savings goal calculator. For me, my answer was, well, let me pick up my calculator again. I needed to have, again, $30,000 annual cost. Multiply by 25, I need to have 750. So I type in here, hey, Tommy, I'm going to need $750,000. That is my goal. And by the way, something I do is whatever my number is, I try to get at least 20% more. So that way, if the market crashes, I'm not going to be like screwed over, okay? But again, if I'm going to start off with just $1, don't put in 0. It won't register. So just put in $1 there. And let's say you want to get there, for example, in 20 years, okay? 20 years at a 12% return. If you copy my portfolio, the link is down below. If you copy my portfolio, that's what my portfolio basically makes me on estimates for the long run. Now, right here, I click calculate, and it shows me, hey, Tommy, you're going to need to invest $867.41 every single month to actually get to your goal of $750,000 in 20 years. Now, if I'm 20 and I have this much money by the time I'm 40, for example, I'm doing like 7 times better than someone that's in their 70s, okay? If I'm, for example, 30, I'm 50, I'm still doing a bunch better. If I am 40 and I'm 60 now, or I mean 50 and I'm 70, I'm still doing a lot better. So it doesn't matter where you are right now, you're going to be a lot better off by basically doing this now. Now, let's say you want to say, hey, instead of 20 years, let's do 30 years. The answer is, well, it's going to be a lot less money. Hey, just invest $258 and you're going to get to your goal. That's the idea. But here is my little rule and my little trick. Since people invest 8 to 12% over a lifetime, just invest between 10 to 20%. And if you do, let's say, for example, 20% of your income, and let's say you make, for example, $4,000 a month, did I get it right? And you multiply it by 20%, the answer is $800. So what would happen theoretically, okay? Let me go here. So here is what would happen if you invested that much money, or if I invested that much money, for example, every single month, okay? $800, which is basically $9,600 every single year. If I did that, for example, for 20 years at a, let's say, 12% return, I'm looking at having $774,000. But let's say I'm going to do it for 30 years. Again, this is all for the long run, all right? So for the long run, I'm looking at having $2.5 million. Now, again, if you remember, we take out 4% of that portfolio. So if I have $2.5 million, a lot of money, by the way, multiply it by, for example, let's say 0.04, that's going to pay me $100,000 a year when I only need like around $30,000, which means I have a bunch of extra money to make sure if things go wrong, I'm going to be just fine. So rule of thumb is, okay, I teach this in my course. The link is down below if you want to sign up for the course. There's also a coupon. But the idea is, as you're paying off, for example, your mortgage a lot faster by putting extra money towards it, just invest 10 to 20%. But once the mortgage is paid off, you invest a lot more money into your retirement accounts, around 20% or even more. This way, by the time you actually need the money per se, you're going to have a bunch of money in there. Because again, in 20 years, I'm going to have exactly the amount of money I need. Which is, hey, if I'm 20, I'm 40, I get to retire 25 years earlier than the average person. If I'm 40, well, now I'm 60, and I can basically retire 5 years earlier, but I also make sure I actually have money in my account to say, hey, I don't really need to have this job anymore. That's the core idea. Now, before I leave you guys, I want to give you a third quick win because this catches a lot of people, and I don't want it to catch you because I'm running out of time. But the idea is, okay, when you go to an investment advisor or with the company's portfolio or a broker, whatever it is, find out how much they're charging you to manage your portfolio. If it's anywhere from 1 to 2%, it might not seem like a lot of money, but if you're making 12% on your portfolio, they take 3% or 2%, that's going to add up to, in the end, to almost a third of all of your gains. So my favorite places to invest are going to be Vanguard and also M1 Finance. And I put a link to my portfolio with M1 Finance, okay? But Vanguard is spectacular. I use them also for my traditional retirement account. So there you go. Hopefully this video helps you. Hopefully you walk away not just knowing a boring, Googleable fact, but also a way to invest and to make sure you have a good amount of money. And again, my rules are before you start investing, pay off your debts, have an emergency fund, and then finally start investing for retirement. But that's all for today, guys. So as always, like, subscribe, hit the bell to get notified, comment down below any questions. And if you guys want to DM me on Instagram, DM me at TommyBryson. If you guys want to call me, the link is down below for free calls. And up here is another video. And up here is my face. Click and subscribe. And as always, the long-term team